While it's possible the Tigers, fresh off of back-to-back postseason appearances, may hold on to Skubal, some executives around the league are figuring that Detroit will make the left-hander available based on the Post reporting. That was Will Sammon of The Athletic. And that report from the Post comes from one Jon Heyman, who had a link to an article, and it says, to sign star pitcher Tarik Skubal, the Tigers will have to close what's likely the biggest gap in MLB negotiating history, and in his article, that is around $250 million. And of course, trading a superb player going into a free agent year isn't a great option either. So Tarik Skubal is at the forefront of Major League Baseball conversation right now. So in today's show, is a Tarik Skubal trade to the Boston Red Sox actually possible? I've had multiple people reach out to me and say, hey, Jack, we should go trade for Tarik Skubal. I am going to tell you all to pause, and I'll tell you why in today's video. But before we do that, if you want the Sox to trade for Tarik Skubal, I know most people that come across this video are going to say, absolutely, why wouldn't you? And we'll talk about the goods and the bads in today's video. If you want the Red Sox to trade for Tarik Skubal, all I want you to do is like today's video. Show that you are part of the Tarik Skubal brigade. Now, it's easy to make the argument of why you should want to trade for Tarik Skubal. He's really good. 195 in the third innings, 2.21 ERA, 241 Ks, 33 walks, a FIP at 2.45. He's probably going to win his second straight Cy Young Award this year. And if you compare him to our ace, Garrett Crochet, yeah, that's a tandem I'd like to see in Boston. You know, Crochet has more innings. Skubal's got a better ERA. Crochet has more Ks. Skubal has less walks. Skubal wins in the FIP category. And like I said, Skubal will probably win the Cy Young over Crochet this year. But my God, that rotation would just be disgusting. Crochet, Skubal, flip it however you want it. I don't care. One of them's the ace, the other's another ace. Brian Bayo's your 3. And then you've got 2 slots for question marks. Why? Because if you trade for Skubal, some of those names that were a little obvious a few weeks ago would probably no longer be on your team. Now, there's no doubt this would be a lot of fun. Tarik Skubal is one of the most electric players in all of baseball. He is the definition of an electric factory. He is fan-freaking-tastic. And I would argue, if you traded for him, you'd instantly be one of, if not the favorite, to win the World Series next year. Now, your offense has to figure it the hell out. But if you've got the tandem of Crochet and Skubal, the 2 best pitchers in the American League, on the same team, fireworks will ensue. However, with a player like Skubal being as good as he is, being 1 year away from free agency, there's a lot of questions. And there's 3 in particular that I'm going to discuss, maybe not answer, but discuss in today's video. Question number 1, can they afford it? That's the first question. According to Jon Heyman, he's looking for a contract in the $400 millions. According to Jon Heyman, the gap between the Tigers and Skubal is like $250 million. Like, that's a lot. He's going to be a lot. He's going to make the most money for a starting pitcher in MLB history. It's going to happen. So can the Red Sox afford it? Well, Tim Kelly of Bleacher Report put out an article of ranking potential Tarik Skubal destinations. He had the Red Sox at number 2. And this is what he had to say. He said, Boston has $21.05 million coming off the books from Walker Buehler. And it's possible Lucas Giolito, who made $19 million in 2025, will opt out and depart for free agency, which I think he will. From a financial perspective, the Red Sox could afford to add Skubal. And we know John Henry has the money. This is not a secret to anyone. He dished out $40 million AAV for Alex Bregman. Of course he's got the money. He bought, at the beginning of the 2000s, they had like the highest payrolls. They brought in all the players. It was them and the Yankees competing. Like, we know he has the money. Now, on the other hand, we also know they hate to spend it. Need I remind you of Full Throttle? Need I remind you of the Mookie Betts trade? Need I remind you of the Rafael Devers trade? They traded Mookie because they didn't want to pay him. They traded Devers because they didn't want to pay him. They wanted to dump his salary. They said they were going to go Full Throttle, and then they didn't spend money. The Red Sox could extend Tarik Skubal if they really wanted to. But what leads any of us to believe they would? They extended Crochet, but they did that for money-saving purposes. His extension, which I don't have it in front of me, I really should. Garrett Crochet's extension of 6 years, $170 million. When the reports are that Skubal's going to get upwards of 400, is highway robbery. That's why they extended Garrett Crochet, because they knew that if they didn't, his price was only going to go up. If they waited till this offseason to extend him, that's a $250, almost $300 million contract after what he did this year. They got him at $170 million. So don't hit me with they did it with Crochet. No. Crochet was unproven. There was a lot of questions around him, and they got him ultra cheap compared to Skubal. 170 and 400 million are very, very different. So again, yes, they could extend Skubal. They could give him the 10-year, 400 million, 40 AAV, whatever. They could. They should. But what leads us to believe that they will? I don't know. What I do know is if the Red Sox do trade for Skubal, you can bet your bottom dollar we're going to go live. We will celebrate. We will do it all. We will have a party here on the Red Sox Rundown. So subscribe, because you're not going to know if you don't subscribe. 58 subs away from our next goal of 6,800 subscribers. I want to get to 6,900 really bad. Just saying. So 58 to get to 6,800. Hit that subscribe button, because when the World Series is over, and the World Series starts this weekend, when the World Series is over, everything starts. So we've got like 2 weeks until everything really kicks off. Trades, free agency, qualifying offers, all of the above. You're not going to want to miss any of that. So join the family today. Hit that subscribe button. Become the most knowledgeable Red Sox fan in your friend group. All right, question number 2. Who do they give up? Okay, so if you're willing to pay him, great. Awesome. Who do you give up? That is the golden question. We got more from Tim Kelly from Bleacher Report. He said it's unclear if the Tigers would be interested in Christian Campbell, but Marcelo Meyer is ready to take over a full-time basis in the major leagues somewhere in the infield. Connelly Early and Payton Tolle are 2 intriguing young lefties that could also entice the Tigers. All of this will come down to who wants to give up significant prospect capital for only 1 guaranteed year of Skubal. It remains to be seen if Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow would be interested in doing so. It's no secret that trading for Skubal means you ship off a lot. I don't know if they'd be intrigued with Christian Campbell or Marcelo Meyer. Christian Campbell, kind of bottomed out this year, and while he looked better in AAA, still didn't look that good. And Meyer is incredibly injury prone. There's a lot of question marks around him too. So I don't know if they'd be interested in either of them. However, Jackson Roberts of Sports Illustrated put out his own trade idea. And it's interesting. This is not mine, by the way, so don't come at me in the comments. It's a trade idea from Sports Illustrated. Tarik Skubal comes to the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox give away Connelly Early, Payton Tolle, and Jhostynxon Garcia. There's a lot. But for Skubal, it might be too much. It might not be enough. I don't know. The truth is, we won't know what Skubal is worth until someone actually trades for him. Crochet, Crochet, it was, they had conversations around the deadline. They kind of had value. They kind of knew where they wanted to go. And at the end of the day, yeah, you traded away Kyle Teal, but then you traded away 3 other prospects that we're probably not going to be missing in the future. Chase Mydroth, Braden Montgomery, they're all good, but we're not going to miss them in the future. Skubal's a different case. Skubal's going to win 2 Cy Youngs. The Tigers are contending. We traded to the White Sox, who aren't going to contend for the next 15 decades. The Tigers made the postseason the last 2 years. They're close, I think. So that price is going to be much heftier than Garrett Crochet's. We're not going to know, though, until someone actually trades for him. That trade, Early, Tolle, Jhostynxon, Garcia, could be perfect. It could not be enough. It could be too much. It could be an overpay. I don't know. But you let me know. Would you do this trade? A for accept, D for decline. You let me know down below in the comments. I don't know. I really like Connelly Early. I don't know if I would do this trade. And that's the third question. Is it worth it? You pay the money. You give up the capital. But the big question, though, is, are you even going to be able to pay the money? Sean McAdam doesn't fully feel that way. Here's what Sean McAdam had to say on the entire Skubal situation. But because Skubal is represented by Scott Boras, who, almost without exception, has his players test the open market whenever there's a chance to do so, the likelihood of a new team extending the ace lefty is almost negligible. The Yankees tried it with Juan Soto, and having him for a year gave them absolutely no advantage when free agency arrived. It will be the same with Skubal. I wholeheartedly agree with what Sean McAdam is saying here. Are you willing to ship off Connelly Early, who I love, Payton Tolle, who if done correctly could be an all-time great pitcher in the league, and Jhostynxon Garcia, who could be a trade chip in another trade? Are you willing to do that with no guarantee that you're going to have Skubal past this next year? Because what McAdam says is right. Boras will have Skubal go to free agency. I don't think there is a chance in hell that if the Red Sox were to trade for Skubal, that he would sign an extension. I do not believe that whatsoever. So my take on this entire thing, I'm not going to ship out the future for 1 year of a pitcher that's destined for free agency. I get that it's Tarik Skubal. I get that he's looking like he's becoming a generational talent. I get that he's probably going to win 2 straight Cy Youngs. But one, John Henry hasn't convinced us that he's back to his spending ways. Yes, he gave $40 million for Bregman, but are we really convinced that he's fully back? I don't know. And then you've got these 3 really, really talented prospects in the trade idea that we talked about. I don't want to give all of those prospects away just for 1 year of Skubal. Now, yes, if you get Skubal, you're an instant World Series contender. Hell, you might be a World Series favorite. But what happens after next year? Oh, wait, there's a lockout coming. Are we even going to play baseball in 2027? I don't have the answer for you. So I really, really hesitate to make a trade for Skubal if you cannot guarantee an extension. I'm telling you right now, I'm staking my claim. I'm planting my flag. If you can't guarantee an extension, I'm not interested. I'm not. I'm not paying Payton Tolle, Connelly Early, Jhostynxon Garcia, maybe even more for a 1 year rental of Tarik Skubal. I'm not doing it. You let me know, though. Predict it for me. It might not even happen. The reports are that it could, but the Tigers, again, they've made the playoffs the last 2 years. They're going to be in on the Bregman sweepstakes. They might get even better. So you let me know. Will Tarik Skubal be traded this offseason? Y for yes, you think he will. N for no, if you think he will not. I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm very much looking forward to following this sweepstakes, though. And anytime we get an update, you bet your bottom dollar we're going to have a video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Do not miss out. This is going to be your one-stop shop for everything going on during the Red Sox offseason. Trades, free agency, coaching. We've been covering coaching changes over the past 2 weeks, for gosh sakes. This is the type of coverage you're going to get here on the Red Sox Rundown. So hit that subscribe button if you've not already. Join what I would consider the fastest growing Red Sox channel on all of YouTube. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Be kind in the comments. I know a lot of people aren't going to agree with my take, but it is what it is. Thank you all so much for watching. And until next time, go Sox.